Today we are recognizing Mr. Sanchez and Mr. Jackson for their rescue efforts to remove a woman and a child from a sinking vehicle. On Wednesday, May 8th of this year, Officer J. Dial was traveling south on North Davis Street at the intersection of West Union Street when he was flagged down by two different motorists advising him that there had been an accident on West Beaver. The individuals informed Officer Dial that a vehicle had actually driven into a retention pond and that people were still inside the vehicle. When Officer Dial responded to the accident scene, he saw a vehicle submerged in the pond with only the roof of the automobile above the water. Officer Dial immediately informed dispatch about the situation. He then ran around the pond to get as close as he could to the vehicle. And it was then that, as he ran to the north end of the pond, he rounded a tree and observed two males, a female and a child, on the shoreline. All four individuals were soaking wet. The two males were Mr. Sanchez and Mr. Jackson. Meanwhile, the owner of the vehicle, Shirley Burris, was bent down on her knees, thanking God for sending two angels to rescue her and the child that she was babysitting. Mr. Jackson explained to Officer Dial that when he arrived at work, he heard a car crash, and he witnessed a white SUV enter the nearby retention pond. He instantly ran towards the vehicle, entered the pond, and made contact with the two victims. He noticed that Ms. Burris still had her seatbelt engaged and that the child was out of his car seat, standing in the back of the vehicle. At that time, the SUV's cabin was about half full of water. Mr. Jackson proceeded to assist Ms. Burris and the child out of the vehicle and told them to grab onto him as he attempted to pull them to safety. While Mr. Jackson was walking toward the shoreline with the two victims, he lost his footing when he stepped in a hole, causing all three of the individuals to go underwater. As soon as he came to the surface, he yelled for help, and that is when Mr. Sanchez responded. Mr. Sanchez also heard the crash and pulled over to help, and when he arrived at the scene, he saw Mr. Jackson attempting to save Mrs. Burris and the child. Mr. Sanchez quickly came to Mr. Jackson's aid and helped pull Mrs. Burris and the child to shore. Officer Dial said, and I'll quote again, "It is my opinion that Mr. Jackson and Mr. Sanchez earned the title of hero. I feel that if both of these men had not acted quickly, selflessly, and with great courage, this accident could have had a horrific outcome." Eric and Donald, I want to thank both of you for acting quickly. Our citizens are just lucky to have citizens like you around. And God bless you both for keeping